Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Movie Mortis, where Movie Madness lives. This is our podcast. My name is Nick.
And I'm Drew.
And Tim.
And today, we're going to become the most hated movie fans, and we're going to break rules 1 and 2 of Fight Club, and we're going to talk about Fight Club. We apologize, Tyler Durden, in advance.
Even though, spoiler alert, Tyler Durden's not a real person.
Yeah, spoiler alert. There are spoilers through this movie. If you've not seen the movie yet, go see it, I guess, and then come back here.
We should really say that at the beginning of every podcast.
I agree. Well, anyways,
I will say right off the bat, so this was my first time seeing Fight Club, and unfortunately, I did have the twist spoiled for me. Unfortunately, years and years ago. But
I had it spoiled to me too, but that was before I started getting an interest in movies and wanting to watch this movie on my watch list. But ended up watching it anyway.
It was kind of when I started to watch movies more seriously and all that.
Yeah,
it was not to go into detail, but it was one of those clickbaity websites that did it for me. So
for me, it was the 30-second bunnies parodies. Yeah. Well, to be fair, I still enjoyed it. So for those of you who don't know, Fight Club is about a unnamed insomniac who meets Tyler Durden and forms a underground fight club as a means of therapy, and then things go too far. General thoughts. I love this movie. I like
this movie.
Tim, what did you think of Fight Club?
I mean, it was tense and unusual. It was just so strange, at the time. I know it's supposed to be an edgy movie from the late 90s, but it just felt, it was obviously before 2000, and I don't know, it just felt so surreal, and it's felt like you were taking an acid trip at the time, so yeah.
Yeah. So fun fact, this movie is based on a book. I've never read it, but I did read a little bit of what the difference between the book and the movie is, and the book tends to go more into the narrator's psychological state, whereas the movie definitely, it does tap into the narrator's psychological state, but it also it shows a lot more, and there's a whole lot of parts changed. Just the ending has a drastic change, if I'm being honest. But we'll get to that later. Fight Club is definitely very gritty, like you mentioned, Tim. It's very tough and intense. It's got that very grimy late 90s atmosphere, and even the soundtrack has a bit of that grunge intensity to it, if that makes any sense.
It was the late 90s after all, so.
Oh yeah. Drew, you got something to add on to this?
I will say I definitely see what Tim's saying as far as the surreal quality of it. There's definitely a lot of shots where the camera moves very fast and it's all very surreal, and it feels it's one of those hints kind of throughout the movie as far as how the camera moves and all that serves as one of those hints. It's okay, maybe there might be something psychologically wrong with the narrator.
Oh yeah. And
there's several of those kind of things throughout the movie. There's flashes of Tyler Durden earlier in the movie if you really pay attention.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies that it really demands your full attention if you want to get everything out of Fight Club.
Absolutely, and there's also, there's also the fact that there's also several hints where something you feel I feel like there comes into it when it comes with Marla, the main female in the movie. You can tell the narrator just isn't acting right around Marla, and it's first assumed he doesn't actually like Marla, but no, the narrator, you'll notice it's Tyler's kind of feel like he starts repeating things Tyler tells him in the background, and yet even though they're close to each other, Tyler does not interact with both the Marla and the narrator. They're kind of separate. It's okay, why is this like this? What's going on?
Yeah.
And because it's definitely it's funny how the narrator, he there's the term unreliable narrator is definitely something that applies to the Fight Club narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually like the narrator. I like his narration. His voice is really. I like his narration in the film. But I find it interesting, and I noticed this in a TV show, which is kind of has some similarities to Fight Club. That show is Mr. Robot, but when they're narrating, they sound all calm and stoic. But in the movie, they do kind of have those. They're a lot more high pitched, and their emotions. They start showing emotion too.
Okay.
Yeah, like especially in the end, as well, where where he realizes, oh shit, Project Mayhem's going to shit, and it's killing people and destroying property.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's interesting too is that like in the final scene where they're about to blow up credit card vents, Tyler said, "Oh, I evacuated everybody," and and while we're on the subject of Tyler, Tyler is very interesting. He has that cool look to him, but he's a complete psychopath and I want to say maybe narcissist because he builds this cult of personality. And what's funny is in the book, apparently the narrator meets Tyler on a nudist beach to symbolize that he's this like new wave spiritual leader, which is ironic considering how Project Mayhem becomes this cult. Whereas in the movie, I still think that how they met in the movie is very nice. I didn't read the book. I just I wanted to look up differences for the sake of this podcast. I'm like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, I think with Tyler, I think it's interesting because I think that's the narrator's alter ego.
It is.
In the form of his imaginary friend, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even Tyler says him during the scene where it's revealed to the audience that they're the same person. And it's like Tyler tells the narrator, he's like, I am what you want to be, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think there's even a little hints of narcissism in the narrator at parts in the movie, a little bit. Since I know you brought up the narcissism a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there is some bits of especially when at the end Tyler's like, "Oh, I'm you," and we get these flashbacks of like the narrator being Tyler, where the scenes where we saw Tyler, well, it was actually the narrator.
Yeah.
And what's even more interesting is that during the scene where Lou, the guy who owns the bar where they start underground, when he hits Tyler, the narrator actually kind of makes a grimace or something, like he's feeling Tyler's pain. So another hint that he's Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think we gotta address the elephant in the room that Tyler kind of. I feel like one of the whole messages in this movie is that this lack of human connection can drive people utterly insane. It can drive them into zombies, whether they're a zombie for the corporations or cult-like personality figures like Tyler Durden, who actually have very malicious intents. Like similar, it's like even though the narrator escapes his corporate life via Tyler, Tyler's just an extreme opposite end of the coin on the corporations. If you ever worked, corporations always give you this training. They tell you they give you an interview, tell you to dress and do all that. Where Tyler, when he starts Project Mayhem, he basically kind of indoctrinates you and kind of disciplines you. Like, in the movie where he tells people he tells an area that these guys have to stay out for 3 days and then, be yelled at and then eventually the Project Mayhem people start repeating things like don't ask questions or something, in the same way sometimes and the way corporations tell you don't ask questions, just do your job. So, corporate life sucks, but Tyler ends up, you think Tyler's stuff is alternative, but it's just the same, just more cult like, and probably gives you more pain too. And
it's certainly, I was about to say, it's like, corporations, when they're training you to do your job or whatever, can kind of do the same thing where it's like, don't ask questions, just like you said.
I'm not trying to say
and it's like, yeah. But it's like, it's something that's very thought provoking, right? Because like, some, obviously I'm not trying to say that corporations are like cults or anything like that, but you know, I do know that, there are people that will, do things for the company that they work for that they probably shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, it's a very interesting sort of dichotomy when you look at it that way. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like it kind of holds a mirror to a lot of like corporatism here in America and stuff. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of it, but I think it's
Oh, no.
something that's something about this movie that I think that's very thought provoking.
Oh yeah, I think there's. Look, I'm not trying to start like a political conversation, but Tyler
Yeah.
is very anti-corporate. He's like this like anarchist kind of deal, but he kind of starts becoming more like a monarch. Ironically enough, like he believes that corporate America is holding back from men from being men, and not just corporate America, but society at large has. He kind of like he kind of starts pushing the narrator away from Marla, which
Hmm.
Marla I think is kind of a weird character, but was the only person that has ever shown genuine affection for the narrator, especially when she starts
Hmm.
calling the narrator about her suicidal thoughts and her drug addiction. But the narrator says, "Nah, fuck her." Like that's actually Marla genuinely crying for help, but the narrator ignores her. Oddly enough, his alter ego Tyler picks it up,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
because here's the thing, as much as violent crazy as the original idea of Fight Club was, like the Fight Club in the universe, not the story, but because Tyler believed that men weren't really being men, so he's like, they can take out their primal anger out via this Fight Club, and eventually, I think the moment he starts handing out homework in quotes, is when the first domino of Project Mayhem begins, his new terrorist cult, because that's what I mean. Yeah, Tyler admits he doesn't want to kill people, but when someone die, but I think we need to get to Bob later, but he basically says, oh, I evacuate everybody. He's um the worst he's gonna do is make other people hurt each other, but he still wants to take down corporate America and return to this like primordial instinct age kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I spoke too much. Do y'all have anything to add on to Tyler Durden and his ideology and basically just his character in the movie?
I think something too. I think this is just be something that is just inherent about Brad Pitt. But I think a lot of why Tyler Durden is able to sort of get all these people to sort of follow him is probably, then join the Fight Club and all that stuff, is because I think there's a bit of charisma to him that I
Oh,
think a lot of people like
absolutely.
attached to. And I don't know if that's about more about the writing or more just about Brad Pitt, just something that he's really good at is being charismatic. But it's like, I think that's something why a lot of people tend to follow people like that is that they fall
Yeah.
for the charisma and the bravado and all that sort of stuff. So I think
I've,
that's pretty interesting.
when you mentioned that explains a lot. Actually, Brad Pitt was incredibly well cast for Tyler Durden because of his
Oh yeah, and I
charisma
think
and
Edward Norton was too. He
Edward.
was a great
Oddly enough, I
casting.
don't remember another movie I saw of Edward Norton. Every time I think of Edward Norton, I think of this movie.
Well,
Edward.
he also played the Hulk in the first Hulk MCU movie,
Oh
the
yeah,
Incredible
that
Hulk. I think that's what it's called.
I did not see
But
that,
the
but I am familiar with the
Yeah, but
sad Hulk
yeah,
deal.
yeah. But then he was replaced by Mark Ruffalo in the Avengers. So
Yeah. Tim, what do you think about Tyler Durden?
Yeah, so is Tyler supposed to be a figment of like the unnamed guy's imagination or something?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what it really is, right?
Uh-huh. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on Tyler Durden, his ideology, his plans, his character? Well, give us your thoughts, Tim.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting concept, just an alter ego of the guy who pretty much starts a cult and as well as like doing some other messed up shit. So I
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah, he puts pornography in children's movies and he urinates in soups.
yeah,
gross.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, Tyler is like I'm not trying to say Tyler has like some kind of standards, but his standards aren't very much. It's just Tyler's standards. Oh, let's evacuate everyone before blowing up the building, or only destroy things when there's no people in them. It's like, well, still he's still committing fucking terrorism, and yes, I agree. We should not be consumed. We should not let consumerism and corporate America completely destroy us and waste down as humans. But I don't think becoming a zombie to an anarchist cult is the solution, you know? And I think
Nope.
a core message about the movie that I think a lot of people like to overlook and say this movie's like, oh, toxic masculinity or a red flag movie. I think the message of the movie is that to escape this monotonous zombie-like state, you need a genuine human connection. And I think this is explored with both Marla and Bob, played by Meatloaf. Which, by the way, rest in peace, Meatloaf. Yeah. Before I think I mentioned before, Marla. So Marla starts off as this kind of bad person in the narrator's life, where Marla basically is a tourist to all these support groups, which the narrator is no different either. He's a fucking tourist too. He does not have testicular cancer, but the fact that people are letting out these emotions end up letting him let out these emotions too, and he kind of starts feeling better about himself and starting to sleep. But then Marla shows up and his insomnia comes back, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna expose you." Like, "Oh yeah, I'll expose you too." It's like what's that? Mutually assured destruction, but for support group fakers. But later on throughout the movie, the narrator does start feeling a connection to Marla. And now, before I get to Bob, otherwise known as Robert Paulson, his name is Robert Paulson. His name is Robert Paulson.
As they fucking repeat several times, and it got on my nerves a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, what do you guys think about Marla?
I like her. I kind of think she's what is that one line from her where she says that? I'm trying to remember. She said something about how she's upset that. God damn! Why can't I remember the fucking line? God damn it!
What scene
was
it?
She's the scene I think after they threaten to expose each other in the support group, I think is what it is. The scene I'm talking about. The scene I'm thinking of. She says something along the lines of like she's mad that like death hasn't come for her or something like that. I feel like, you know, you talked about that lack of human connection. She doesn't seem like she has much connection either. You know, she seems to be a lot like the narrator in that way.
Yeah. So where not only does Marla find comfort in those support groups being a tourist, not terrorist, she's not blowing up buildings. Though a gender bend Fight Club does sound interesting. I wonder what the male version of Marla would be. Anyways, the point I'm trying to, she also starts taking drugs and even says that she almost kills herself to the narrator, which the narrator goes to check up on Marla.
Yeah. And I think the point I was bringing up was that, you know, that's another thing, that lack of human connection can fuck up your mind to the point where you would think to do stuff like that. You know,
absolutely. I think anyone who's ever felt isolated has thought about doing things that would probably hurt one another. Which, by the way, if you're watching this, viewer, talk to a friend or a family member. Okay, if you're thinking about doing stuff to yourself, don't hurt yourself, please. Anyways, Tim, thoughts on Marla before we talk about Robert Bob Paulson?
The golf girl, right?
Correct the Mungo.
Yeah, I liked her. Just, I mean, I did remember that, you know, I just remember the scene where, you know, the unnamed guy just blows his cheek off, like, at the end to save her, I believe. But that was, like, pretty brutal, I would say. So
he didn't just save her; he saved himself from Tyler, and he still had control, and now he can gain control and then truly save her. And then the girl was at first upset with him until he goes, "Oh my gosh, why are you bleeding?" It's like, "Look, I've been through. I'm okay. I'm finally free." And then I think the last line to not only is said in the whole movie, but he straight up says to Marla, "You met me at a very strange time in my life." And I think the narrator also met Marla in a strange time in her life.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. And then they watch the buildings blow up while "Where Is My Mind" by Pixies plays, which I'm not gonna lie, I start fucking vibing out to that song when it started playing. I even started singing along with your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Yeah, good fucking song. Almost after watching that movie. Okay, so I'm gonna give out. Some people call this a red flag, but I've seen this movie 4 times. Okay, I'm okay, but no joke. After rewatching this for this podcast, I was tempted to illegally download "Where Is My Mind" by Pixies in Minecraft. Yeah. But yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You can just go to Spotify. Come on, man. No need to pirate shit.
That's true. That's true. In Minecraft.
Anyways, on to Robert Paulson was the guy's name, right?
Robert Paulson.
They only said it 50 times.
You actually counted? You actually counted
No.
the time? Oh, man. I was going to say hats off, brother, because you fucking counted that shit. But I wanted to bring up Robert Paulson and freaking Marla in the same context because I think Bob was also part of that human connection that the narrator lacked. Like, he was the first, even though he was faking it, Bob still felt like a genuine connection to the narrator. And he cried in front of Bob, and he said it felt good. And Bob even recognizes his narrator outside of the support groups, and even learns about Fight Club, and it's like, oh, I'm attending too. And they even, and they grow closer. And even at the part where Bob is going to be indoctrinated into Project Mayhem, which the narrator, I'm gonna get this later. Basically, Bob's about to leave, but the narrator's like, no, Bob, this is just part of the plan. Trust me. Just trust me. Stay outside for 3 days. Believe me, it'll work. And, he gets indoctrinated into Project Mayhem, but it's when he fucking dies, the narrator is devastated. This completely devastates the narrator. It's like, Project Mayhem not only is gone too far with killing, blowing up buildings, but killing Bob as we realize, holy shit, how is this any better than testicular cancer or fucking corporate America? Because, Bob was dying, but the fact that we bombed to an early grave is even worse. The one person who not only did he first connect to, but also help him sleep well the first night, fucking died because of Tyler's plans. And I missed this, but on my rewatch, I could see like the pain in the narrator's face, like, oh god, why? And Bob dying was his breaking point when he realized this is fuck Project Mayhem, fuck Tyler Durden. This needs to end now.
But he's too deep into it to really, be free.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like this is what it's like, and that's when he also tries to tell Martha, you need to get out of here. You're gonna get hurt. Someone who I didn't know I cared for that much got hurt, and now I don't want you to get hurt. Like he did, because like a lot of people like to think Tyler Durden is, Tyler Durden is not just toxic, but just he's fucking insane. Whereas the narrator, he's trying to cling to humanity, and if Marlo hates him, that's fine, but he just wants her to be safe. And unfortunately, the twist is like, oh, that bus was full of Project Mayhem. And, that's and because, Bob was a good friend to the narrator, even if the narrator was fucking being a tourist. Like, yeah. What do you all think about Bob?
Well, I like that he was the first, he was the person that gave the narrator that human connection, right?
Yeah.
And I think giving him, someone like that who has gone through cancer treatments and stuff to be that first person is kind of, there's something kind of, what's the word? There's something almost beautiful like that in a way.
Oh yeah.
Because it's somebody who, because I think Bob even says it at some point that it's like because he had testicular cancer, like his wife left him or something.
Yeah, his
or
wife
whatever.
left him.
And so it's like he's probably hasn't had much meaningful human interaction recently either.
Yeah.
And so it's like to have them be their first, human connection is there's something kind of beautiful about that in a way. I know I'm kind of repeating that phrase a little bit.
No, it's all too good. Before I get to Tim, I want to ask you: Do you think Bob would have if Bob found out the narrator is faking testicular cancer? Do you think he would have liked him or would have like completely disowned him?
I don't know. Just it's been years since I've seen that movie, so it's hard to explain.
All right.
Don't have a definite. It's been almost 10 years since I watched that movie, so yeah.
Drew, what do you think?
I think it depends on when he finds out. Like if he finds out at the beginning of the movie, yeah, he's disowning him. The whole fucking club, the whole fucking group is gonna disown him. But I think it's late. If it's later on, I'm not sure he would care as much because he's already had that connection. You know, he's already had that meaningful relationship with him. So
that could make for another interesting movie. A guy fakes a sickness just to feel some kind of human emotion, only to realize he's found it, but you know, he's eventually going to come out and say, I never had it to begin with. I just wanted to belong somewhere. That would make for an interesting idea. But anyways, minus the question, Tim, what are your thoughts on Bob as a character?
I don't remember what he looks like. Is he the fat guy? Or
he was the fat guy with the big tits.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, seemed cool, I guess. Just, I don't know what. It's hard to remember, but he seemed cool enough. But I think he got like too much into the cult and stuff, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, what's funny too is that there's a scene where he's fighting in Fight Club, but you know the rules of Fight Club are you'd have to take off your shoes and your shirt to fight. So fun fact, Bob kind of breaks that rule a little bit by wearing a shirt while fighting. But the reason why is because that way Meatloaf can keep the fat suit on. And because they also try to imply in the film that Tyler Durden does not like Bob's bitch tits and thinks they're disgusting and unpleasing. He's like, all right, fine, keep your shirt on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. I don't think I remember really thought about that too much. I was like, oh, he's still wearing a shirt, even though you're not supposed to wear a shirt while fighting. I didn't really think of anything of it, to be honest.
Yeah. Speaking of fighting, did you know they made a Fight Club video game? And Fred Durst is an unlockable character for some reason.
Let's move on to something else.
I just want to. No, I'm not kidding. That's real, by the way. I'm not gaslighting. That is real.
To all the people listening to this, I had the unfortunate displeasure of seeing Limp Bizkit open for Metallica this past weekend, and Drew I do not like Limp Bizkit very much.
Yeah, he does not like Limp Bizkit.
And to be honest, it comes largely because I think Fred Durst is a terrible front man. You can all come at me, Limp Bizkit fans, if you want, but just know that I will ignore you to death.
Before all the Limp Bizkit fans attack this channel and consider us an enemy, I think the song "Rollin'" is really good. Now, please do not attack us. All right, I at least like the song "Rollin'" and Nookie, so take it easy on us. Anyways, so I think another thing worth noting is so I'm gonna be honest. I like David Fincher, but I haven't seen every single film he's made. Like most ones I remember are The Killer and this film too. And I noticed David Fincher also had some commentary to make about like consumerism in The Killer, whereas The Killer was a lot more casual and just like, oh, it's just part of life, you have to accept it. Fight Club is just like, fuck consumerism, we're gonna blow up some buildings. And The Killer, to an extent, also has that grimy look as well. So I'm wondering if David Fincher can match that kind of grimy, anti-capitalist, basically F society kind of vibe to it. You know?
Did David Fincher also do Zodiac as well?
He did. I'm gonna be honest. I did not see Zodiac, but now I have to.
Yeah, I want to see that movie. Same. But yeah, I like that this movie has a very like grimy feel to it. Like Tim said earlier, it's like it's very late '90s, early 2000s.
He also made Seven and The Social Network.
Oh shit! I just bought the 4K of Seven just last week.
Yeah, and he also did Gone Girl as well. Man, I really gotta catch up on my fucking Fincher homework, man. Cause again, I love The Killer, and I also love this movie as well. And he did like the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and he also directed a bunch of music. Oh, he actually directed some music videos for Nine Inch Nails. That's cool.
All right, I respect Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah. Also, and then I guess before I keep derailing, I'm just gonna say one more thing: that David Fincher is directing an American adaptation of Squid Game. I don't know how
Next.
to feel about that. I like on one
Next.
hand, I can see Fincher. I can see Fincher kind of delving into that like anti-capitalist feel, but on the other hand, why are you making an American adaptation of Squid Game when Squid Game already has a dub? If the whole point is like, oh, we're making a fucking Squid Game because American Squid Game because Americans won't watch Korean TV. It's like, well, motherfucker.
Nick, that is a
Sorry.
whole separate conversation we can do a
You're
whole
right.
other
You're right. Sorry, I'm
podcast
getting
about.
distracted.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing with that Train to Busan movie from a few years ago. I think it's getting an American English adaptation.
Well, that's
Different conversation.
Yeah, different conversation. But the point I'm trying to make is, I think again, the point is David Fincher, I think, can really capture this kind of man being burned down by society kind of deal, like he's shown with just this film and a few of his other films too. And I feel like Fincher does have that kind of character that's kind of that can break at any moment kind of deal. That's what I was trying to get at. That's what. Thank you, Drew, for But what were you saying?
What were you gonna thank me for?
Keeping me back on topic because I almost went to a rant of why the hell are they making Squid Game America when Squid Game actually has an English dub. Anyways,
I would say that I would comment more on the whole David Fisher thing if I have seen more of his movies. Seven is on my watch list. I plan to watch it soon, and also so is Zodiac. But funny enough, Seven also stars Brad Pitt. So
interesting. Wait a minute, Tim, you've seen Zodiac, right?
Yes, I did.
Did you did you feel that Zodiac was very? Did it have like any similar motifs and style to Fight Club or no? Because it's by the same director.
I don't believe so.
Really? I mean, I could definitely see directors adapting to different styles.
Also, you have to do Zodiac is sort of based on true events because it's based on a real serial killer case.
Right.
Whereas like this movie, I imagine it's just based off a book, right? The book wasn't based off anything real.
Yeah. I've considered listening to the audiobook, but I don't know. I feel like if I want to start with Chuck Palahniuk, I should try something else. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like maybe Fight Club might be worth reading. Keyword being might, because the author does consider the movie an improvement.
Okay.
Anyways, what were you saying, Drew?
What was I saying? Oh yeah, I think I was asking, was the book Fight Club, was that like based on anything real or was it
Not
like
it's not really
Zodiac
based on anything
was,
real. The book, I kid you not, this is in the IMDb trivia page, but Chuck Pala, I'm just gonna call him Chuck because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Chuck wrote the book because he got beat up by a bunch of campers after telling him to turn the radio down. And when he got home the next day, nobody asked him about his bruises or anything because he believed that would require him to get more personal. So he wrote a book. That's why he wrote Fight Club, because nobody asked him why he got beat up.
damn dude, just show some fucking emotions for your fellow man or something. Come on, people.
That's right. That's the point of the movie.
Yeah.
I kind of want to start reading more of his work now, even though I've only watched a movie adaptation based on his work. Then again, I've seen the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie before I read the book. But anyways, another conversation for another day. What else can we milk this movie for all it's worth, continually breaking rules 1 and 2 for?
What did you guys think of the actual like fight scenes in general in Fight Club? Like, what did you guys think?
I thought they were kind of neat. Scenes? Like, I thought they were nice.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like to me they were shot almost like a mix of like a boxing match, but a bit more like in a way that's a bit more grounded and not as sensational, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. That does make sense.
They felt like real fights, not like a fake boxing match or whatever.
They felt like real fights. It felt like something out of like maybe those fighting movies, like a boxing movie or something. But like the camera's more up close and personal, and instead of being in a ring, it's an underground place full of grime and muck.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. That's kind of what I meant because the camera is very close to the fighters, so it's like it gets you up close and personal, and it feels a bit more raw and real that way, rather than like if it was if the camera was farther away and it showed everything. Not that there's not like medium shots in these fights, but if it was like if the shot at an angle that made everything seem bigger, it would almost seem more like a spectacle. It would make everything seem more like a spectacle.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I find interesting too is that the movie was heavily marketed in stuff like MMA and like boxing matches, even though the director admitted that the fighting wasn't really a key component. Like, yes, the movie's called Fight Club, but the movie was never really about the fights. It was about the degradation of society and how. Oh gosh, dang it! I almost choked on something. And how like well, fuck, what was I saying? I literally choked on my own fucking words and my own fucking thoughts. Damn it. Yeah, it's like the movie was supposed to be about, a satire of society and basically what happens when people when men specifically start becoming too angry with the world.
Yeah.
Which I found kind of interesting. Another thing too, did you know that Rosie O'Donnell hated this film so much she spoiled it on her own talk show?
I did not know that.
Yes.
Why? Why did she
Rosie
hate the movie so
O'Donnell,
much?
she saw the film early and hated it, called it tasteless, and spoiled the ending. And both in the DVD commentary, both the director and Brad Pitt and Edward Norton called her actions completely terrible and just tasteless.
Yeah, because I've seen movies that I've hated before, but I'm never like, I hated that movie so much I'm gonna go around to all my friends and spoil it for them just out of pettiness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but she apologized. But even then, it's like, what the fuck, O'Donnell?
Well, still, it's like the damage has been done, especially with all the people who are watching that talk show.
In fact, this movie was actually pretty controversial when it came out. Like, not only did it spawn copycat fight clubs, but it also caused a guy to like start blowing up mailboxes. Like, this is not like Unabomber shit. This isn't the fucking Unabomber crime. Like, some guy was trying to recreate like the smiley face burning, but with like a town mailbox. And in fact, the whole movie had a pretty controversial production too. Not like a production hell, but like a lot of people were very uncertain in this movie because it criticized society at large. When like the 90s were kind of like, oh, civilization's fine and everything. But ironically enough, the 90s was when a lot of movies criticizing society came out. And in fact, this gets even deeper when, you know, that line when the narrator quits wearing a tie to work and he actually photocopies the rules on the Fight Club on a copier.
Yeah.
So he makes a joke saying that someone would have shot up the place. So get this. The first test screening, everybody laughed and loved that joke, but they did another test screening after the Columbine shooting, and nobody liked that. They felt very uncomfortable.
That makes sense. I mean,
but honestly,
I also this is somewhat unrelated, but is it also true that Fight Club wasn't a huge smash hit when it came out?
No, it was not a huge smash hit. I don't think there was a lot of even though there was like certain marketing behind it, it just didn't do well at the box office, and most critics were mixed. But nowadays, everyone sees it as one of the greatest films of all time, and has also been deemed a cult classic.
I mean, I don't think it's great. I don't think it's like greatest films of all time good, but I mean, I think it's good.
I freaking love this movie, man. I love it.
I don't know, maybe because I feel like this is a movie that begs for a rewatch because of the twist and everything. So
maybe I'll
rewatch it at some point.
Then I've started picking up more on it. Like every time I watch it, I always pick up something new.
Yeah. That's kind of what I mean.
Like one inappropriate detail is that so in the scene where like the narrator is explaining Tyler's backstory, like before he gets to the projection room, you can actually see a quick snippet of the penis he puts within the film strip, and that same penis appears in the very end of the movie.
What?
I am not gay, I swear. Because
I'm trying to figure out what part of the end of the movie would that show up at.
So it's like at the very end when the narrator and Marla are watching the buildings blow up. Like it's like a blink and you'll miss it, but the junk is flashed up on the screen before cutting to credits. And
I did not catch that.
that's to imply that Tyler, even though the narrator's free, Tyler is somehow still there, wandering. He could be in somebody else's mind, or he could still be a narrator's. Which, if you read, Chuck Palahniuk, whatever his name is, actually wrote a sequel to Fight Club in the form of a comic book Needless to say, Tyler's out there running around, ready to strike and cause mischief at any moment.
That's what the anarchists do.
Yeah. So
I'll be perfectly honest. I don't have much more to say about this movie, to be
I don't
honest.
really got a lot to say either, except I know, like, even then, I feel like a lot of people see this film as like a red flag movie because people's like, oh, you missed the point of Tyler. He's a far left anarchist who hates capitalism, and if you're only idolizing his toxic masculinity, or oh, if you like Fight Club, you're a bad person because you want to be like Tyler. No, I don't agree with that. Again, I mentioned this before. Fight Club was about what happens when nobody has that human connection. They're gonna desperately look for it, even in the darkest of places, whether that be through, but whether that be they're gonna do they're gonna do whatever they can just to feel something, and whether that be through drugs, faking support groups, or just fucking joining anarchist cults.
Yep.
Believe it, sometimes the way to finally not zombify yourself is to find genuine love and friendship and camaraderie.
Yep. And not friendship and camaraderie with an imaginary person, but a real person.
Exactly. And I guess I could one thing I've actually been doing some reading on tulpas because I'm not gonna create one, but Tyler does kind of seem to match the description of a tulpa, basically an idealized self. And there are stories out there saying that if you're not mentally well sound or stable, this tulpa can ultimately take control of you. Plus, I'd like to write a movie about a tulpa, not because of Fight Club, but because of just the ideas and stories I've heard. But yeah,
I don't have anything to add to that.
Tim, you got it? You got anything to add to anything I just said, or just want to add something new to the Fight Club convo?
No, not really.
Alrighty. I guess the one more fun fact is that so in the scene where like Tyler tells the narrator to hit him, Edward Norton was going to fake hit Brad Pitt, but David Fincher at the last second whispered, "Oh, actually hit him," and so he hit him in the ear. That was real.
All right.
And got a genuine reaction.
All right.
But yeah, that's all I got to say. Final thoughts. Fight Club is a really amazing movie that, while brutal and grimy, I think has a poignant message about how people can escape like these terrible toxic zombie states by finding genuine human connection. But though in the search of genuine human connection, we can end up finding ourselves in darker places. You just have to find the right one, whether it be through a good friend or maybe even the love of your life. Fight Club is a really amazing movie, very grimy, and I think a lot of its messaging even is very relevant today, even though it was made as a product of the time. I think a lot of the messages are very relevant today. Honestly, like I think
agree.
we kind of did somewhat get into that detail a bit, but still, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Tim, Drew, got any closing thoughts?
Fight Club is good. It's one of those movies that I feel like you should probably watch multiple times to get everything. You're gonna. I've only seen it once, so maybe that affects my viewpoint a little bit because there's a lot of like, as Nick was saying, there's a lot of like blink and you'll miss it kind of details in this movie.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a very good movie. I really don't have much else to add other than just to repeat what you said.
I agree. Tim?
Yeah, I mean it was good. It was just morbid and stuff. I will say it's just edgy stuff. I mean, it's hard for me to describe, but it's just like it definitely has that nihilistic feel and stuff. So it's like if you put it
thing. I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from, but if it's edgy, it's a knife because it's edge, but there is a point to all of it, unlike a pizza cutter.
Yeah, of course, and it has very nihilistic overtones to it. So,
I mean, a little bit, but in the end, I do think there's a way to overcome this nihilistic overtones and just. I mean, yeah, it is, but like I don't necessarily agree that's a completely nihilistic movie. And like again, Tyler is probably the most nihilistic part when he starts Project Mayhem, but it's when the narrator breaks free of Tyler and Marla finally realizes, holy shit, the narrator actually hurt himself. and that that he was trying to keep her safe this whole time, but things got out of hand. Oh, which fun thing in the book is much. One more thing before we conclude. The book, I think, has a much more morbid ending. So, spoiler alert for the book as well. It ends with the narrator in a mental hospital talking with God about society. And then he gets a letter from Project Mayhem saying that they're still alive.
That is pretty morbid.
Yeah, and also Marla points out that Tyler and the narrator are the same person. Not Tyler Durden saying, "Hey, we're the same." And what's funny too is that in the book it's implied that Marla and the support groups that the narrator been to actually helped bring the narrator back to life before he died, but granted still got checked into a mental institution. So I guess there is that slight hint of human connection, but again, the book I feel like has a more morbid, has a more darker and nihilistic tone to it, because even though he's broken through something, society is still dragging the narrator down, and his psychological state just doesn't seem to be improving. Where, I get the sequel books also imply it too, that he was still a little insane, but I think I think the movie's ending does sound not very optimistic, but just like a somewhat kind of a bittersweet, beautiful. It's like the narrator said, "You met me at a very strange time in my life."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's all I gotta say about Fight Club. Tim, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did you want to finish your thoughts?
No. It's fine. I said what I had to say.
Okay. Just that when you mentioned nihilistic tones, it just made me think about how the book handled it all. But yeah, that's been another episode of the Movie Morris podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow the socials. Tell us what you thought of this movie. Tell us what you thought of this episode, or just want to say something stupid in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all later. And once again, apologies to Tyler Durden.